you are teaching online courses and giving online exams. Some of you have had your research and scholarship disrupted by the pandemic. You may have uncertainties about financial support and graduation and employment after graduation. You may be dealing with challenges relating to your family and childcare, and we want to help you deal with these. We're doing our best to move our services online. If you call our front desk, a person will answer the phone and help you. The Writing Center and Career and Professional Development has moved online. They're offering workshops and consultations. We have moved all thesis and dissertation exams online. We've moved all courses to SF grading to try to reduce stress while giving you the option of a letter grade. And we're posting answers to frequently asked questions online. But we know that you may be feeling isolated, so we thought it was a good idea to get together in this format and try to answer the questions that we know you still have. Because this is a large group, your microphones are muted. We invited you to ask questions in advance, and in a few moments, we'll start to answer those and to invite you to ask additional questions. Now I'd like to ask Simone Warwick-Bell, the Graduate Academic Counselor, to say a few words.
Hi, my name is Simone, and I am the new Graduate Academic Counselor. I started my position in February, and then a couple of weeks later, we are now in the midst of a pandemic, and I am teleworking. Essentially, I'm here to offer support to students in terms of their mental health need or gathering information about any other resources that might be helpful to you. In addition to that, we also have a number of resources for mental health services. I just want to remind everyone that the Counseling Center is still accepting clients. They're offering virtual appointments. If you call the main number, they can schedule you an intake appointment. Amanda has posted a poll just to see what programs that you all would find beneficial. The hope and intention of the program is to offer services that you actually would prefer to see from the graduate school. The health center on campus is also offering meditation sessions that are free, and the university still uses the WellTrack app that's free for UMD students. For those who are experiencing financial barriers right now and financial hardships, the Student Crisis Fund is still accepting applications. This is not a loan. This is a fund that can be given to students. You can apply by going to the website. Amanda can put that in the chat as well. And if you apply, essentially, it doesn't mean that you will be guaranteed funding. They do review applications. This is not an immediate cash in hand service. There is a little bit of time just due to the overwhelming amount of requests right now for the fund. Any questions you have, you send them to Amanda in the chat. I will be happy to help address that. And that's it. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, my video is muted, but my internet connection wasn't quite as stable, so I thought it would just be smoother if I did it this way. But good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Roberts. I am the Assistant Dean in the graduate school and a former graduate terp myself. And thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all of our co-hosts. So I want to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about all the things they're doing to support you. So we'll start with Jenna and, start with Sue and Jody in ISSS.
Thanks, Scott. Amanda, thank you for putting up our polling question, so if students can take a minute to respond to the poll. I am Sue Doherty, and I'm the director of ISSS at the University of Maryland. And I'd like to welcome you all to our town hall today. And I'm going to have Jody Heckman-Bose introduce herself quickly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jody Heckman-Bose. I'm the Associate Director of Student Services at ISSS, and so glad you joined us today. I will be attempting to answer your international questions at the end of our introductions. So I'll be back.
Thanks, Jody. ISSS has taken all of its services that it was offering to enrolled students and those students who are in the application process at this time into a remote environment. And to do that, what we have done is our chat. We have an online chat, which students can make use of in the mornings, Eastern Standard Time. We also are offering appointments with the ISSS advisors during the mornings, Eastern Standard Time. In the afternoons, we have virtual walk-ins, so students can log in and have questions responded to that are shorter and don't require as much detail and advising as a person who may need to make an appointment. In addition to these services, ISSS has hosted on its website, isss.umd.edu, several frequently asked questions that are there for your quick responses. One is for a currently enrolled student at the University of Maryland, and another set of questions would be for the students who have been admitted and are waiting for their I-20s to be issued and have some entry questions. So we have a special frequently asked questions for you. For our enrolled students at the university, we do have some online events. Those are also posted on the homepage of our website. We are having our first virtual coffee hour this week, and we hope you'll be able to join us. We are also doing a virtual career series, and on Friday, April 17th, we're having an alumni panel from 2 o'clock until 3:30, and you can attend those by going into the iTerp application, which you use to request services, and we have a sessions area, and go ahead and enroll and register in the sessions area. And finally, we do have a student group called English Conversation Partners at the University of Maryland, and this is a program that permits all students to meet and have some structured English conversation, which is great for your practice with the English language. You'll be meeting with a mentor who is a English language speaker, and then if you're participating in a group, there'll be some managed discussions where you're able to get some feedback and feel more comfortable with both your oral English skills as well as maybe presentation skills. So I hope you can look into English Conversation Partners at the university. Jody, do you have anything to add? Okay, then we'll go right to our questions.
Great, thank you. Well, let me give Jennifer Enriquez from Graduate Student Life an opportunity to introduce herself and tell you about some of the things that they're doing.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I'm the coordinator for Graduate Student Life. Normally, you'd find me in the STAMP Student Union along with Aggie and Corinne, who work with me as GAs. Graduate Student Life exists to help you connect with other students outside of the classrooms and labs. We host many different social events like game nights, craft nights, and coordinated trips to see shows and visit places in and outside of the DMV area. We work with other units on campus to advocate and collaborate on initiatives to support the grad student community. And this includes working with GSG and other student organizations. And lastly, we manage the Grad Student Lounge that's located in the STAMP Student Union. So you'll see that we have the poll questions here. We want to get a sense of what kind of programs you want to see from us. And we will use that to inform our future programming. So we want to help you connect with other students. STAMP as a whole is working together to put on events for the community. So we're organizing things like the TERP Talent Showcase, which will happen every Tuesday. So if you have a talent you'd like to share, let me know and I can be sure to include you in our series. We are hosting trivia nights and other game nights virtually, as well as other creative and craft sessions and challenges. GSL and other departments are hosting lounge hours like ISSS through Zoom. So you can come in, chat with us, connect with us. We could share a meal together or play games. It really is up to you. I'd also like to mention that the chapel is still hosting virtual mass and other events related to spirituality. If you're a gamer, Terp Zone will be hosting a Super Smash Brother tournament next Saturday. So thank you for your time. I hope to see you in our lounge.
Great, thank you so much. And representing the graduate student government, Annie Rappaport. Annie?
Oh, there we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Annie. I am President of Graduate Student Government. It's really great to see you all here. I know these are strange times. I'm feeling some of them with you, and I just hope you know that we are here for you to be your advocacy body. We are available in many ways. You can contact me directly. You can go to our website at gsgumd.org, where you can find your representative. Some of you I do know, so please reach out to each other and just know that we're available here for you. Even though we're going through these crazy times, we do hope many of you will choose to get involved. We're about to have our elections and turnover, and we hope that you will be a part of graduate student government to make sure that international voices are at many of the decision-making tables across campus, the system, state, and national level. So thanks for having me here.
Thank you. So we received a number of questions in advance through the registration process, so we're gonna take some time now to address those, and then we'll turn to the questions that you're submitting via chat. Please submit those to the host, Amanda, and we'll organize those and do our best to get to as many of them as we can. So the first question is, in no particular order, with the current change in office hours, how long would it take for OPT STEM requests to be processed?
Great, thanks. Before I answer particular questions, I thought I would outline really the three provisions that the U.S. government has approved for international students this will be a backdrop to many of my answers that I provide today. The first flexibility or provision that the government has allowed has to deal with the university moving to online courses. So early on in the pandemic, SEVP made provisions to allow all F1 and J1 students to maintain their F1 and J1 status should a university move to online courses. And originally we were moving online only until April 10th. And so we notified SEVP with these adaptations, and our F1 and J1 students could maintain students through April 10th. Again, when we were, when the online delivery was extended to the end of the semester, ISSS has notified SEVP of the university's adaptations, and so you are covered for this entire spring semester to be online. So that was the first adjustment the government has made. The second adjustment that the government has made and has published deals with the issue surrounding a 5-month absence from the US. Immigration regulations indicate that if an F1 or J1 student is out of the US more than 5 months, they are not maintaining F1 status and they lose their status and would need a new immigration document to re-enter the United States. Many of our international students decided to return home once they knew courses would be online and have departed the US and do not plan to re-enter until perhaps August, which would take them over their 5-month rule. SEVP suspended this rule for students who are currently maintaining their F1 status and decided to return home and will come back for the fall. So there's no worry about individuals that are continuing to maintain their status by attending their courses online full-time. They'll be able to re-enter with their current immigration document, and our office will not need to reissue a new document. And the final flexibility that the government has published involves your I-20. This provision does not extend to DS 2019s for our J students. I see there are a few J students that have joined us today. So for those that have an I-20, the regulations do not allow for university to send electronic copies of I-20s or DS 2019s with an electronic signature. However, SCVP suspended this regulation for the purpose for applying for benefits. This is very helpful for those students who are applying for their optional practical training, that we do not need to get an original document to you. We are sending signed electronic copies that you can use in your application. So this flexibility has been great for benefits. I do need to indicate that it has not been determined if port of entry or embassies will allow for the use of electronic copies. So at this time, any initial I-20 or I-20 created for the purposes of travel should be an original that ISS will mail to you, so that you will have no problems entering at the port of entry or applying for visas. And this is especially important for the new students that have joined us here in today's town hall. So that being said, as an overview, those are the provisions that we know the government has allowed. I will get to, Scott, do you mind asking that question again?
Asking the question that
The first question that you had asked me to answer.
Sure, that how long would it take for OPT STEM requests to be processed?
I forgot the question.
Sure.
I am very proud to say that our office is back to normal processing time for all of our applications that are filed through eTERP. Our processing time is to review your applications and get back to you if there's any missing information or with an approval within 5 business days, and we are within that processing time. So for OPT, all of our required workshops have been moved to online, so students are able to attend those workshops, both workshop 1 and 2 online. You are able to file your requests through eTERP. Advisors are reviewing them remotely from home and producing those documents, and you're getting an email with the approved I-20 that you can use for your application. So we're within normal processing time.
Great, thank you. The next question is, considering the current closure of USCIS offices and the potential delay in processing cases, are you aware of any plans to extend current work permission for international students?
So USCIS offices that have closed are those offices that are meeting with individuals face-to-face. So these are different applications that involve biometrics or face-to-face interviews. These are the offices that have been affected and appointments have been canceled for face-to-face meetings. But for most of our benefits that our F1 students apply for, which would be your OPT, STEM OPT, filing change of status, these are all done through the mail, and processing is still happening remotely in these USCIS centers. So to our knowledge, applications are being received. Students are getting receipted for those applications, and adjudicators are working remotely from home. The students can check online the length of processing time for various benefits that they've applied for. And I believe as of last week, OPT was running 3 to 5 months processing time, which is actually a common processing time in normal times. So that is what we encourage students to prepare for, processing of 3 to 5 months for OPT anyway.
And Jody, I think for those students who are in between their initial year of OPT and a STEM extension of OPT, I'd just like to remind them that the OPT receipt of your STEM extension does grant you 180 days of extended employment possibility with the employer that you have applied for your STEM extension. So I would remind you that you can see that on the receipt itself. So that can be something that's there for those in that particular situation.
And I did see there was an earlier question about deadlines to apply for OPT. Students they can apply 90 days before they complete their program or up to 60 days after the completion of a program. So if you're completing this spring, May 22nd is the end date on your I-20 and for officially for the semester for international students. So you would have until July to get an application to USCIS. And so you want to be looking at that 60-day deadline to apply as the latest time that you could have an application arrive to USCIS. I'm looking at a question that was submitted previously. Are F1 students allowed to work off campus in case of extreme circumstances? Do we require permission from DHS? There are two different sorts of emergency employment that is offered through DHS. One is called special student relief. And as of today, we have not heard any approval for special student relief for the COVID-19 situation. There have been other emergency situations in the past where the government comes forward to indicate that because of a certain emergency, they are providing the ability for F1 students to apply for special student relief. So as of this time, there's nothing for COVID. However, there has always been the provision for another work authorization called economic hardship. Economic hardship has existed for students whose funding that they have shown on their original immigration document, if that funding has substantially changed. So if you have shown that you had a graduate assistantship and that's how you were funding your studies and that has been removed and you've lost your funding, this might be a good case for applying for economic hardship. On the ISSS webpage, we do have a link to economic hardship. It is an application that is filed through USCIS. In conjunction with ISSS, we need to review the change in funding and recommend economic hardship. But students should know that this is not a quick process. It involves a fee of $410 and takes anywhere from 3 to 5 months to be approved. So unfortunately, it's not a program that is developed to be quickly approved and to provide you with immediate relief. The standards for meeting economic hardship are pretty high, and they are not approved regularly. But if you have had a substantial change in the funding on your immigration document, please make an appointment with the ISSS advisor so that we could, discuss if you would be a good candidate for it. But as of today, we have no special work permission based on COVID-19.
Scott, are you back?
Yes. So another question related to decisions regarding the summer and the fall semesters and whether those will be delivered on campus. And related to that, if on-campus instruction resumes, what will happen for students that cannot return?
That will be decided by each program. So we do hope and expect that classes on campus will resume in the fall. If you are outside of the country and unable to return, each program will decide whether it will deliver online instruction for you or to defer your admission or to defer your, to continue your registration so that you're able to resume your classes in the spring.
And currently there's not a decision announced about summer.
That's right. So summer classes, a decision about whether to hold them online or in person has not yet been made. The decision will be made by May 1st. We are hoping to be able to offer on-campus classes at least for summer session 2. There's a lot of demand for laboratory and studio courses that can be offered successfully only in person. And we're hoping to have the opportunity to do that in the second summer session.
A related question to that is a student had asked ahead of time, if online only classes extend into the summer and maybe even the fall, what implications could there be for international students electing to stay in the US to maintain F1 status? For many of us, it does not make sense and or is not practical to travel to our home countries during a pandemic.
Right. It's important to follow the guidance by the governor to shelter in place, and students are not recommended at this point to be traveling around. If the university does extend the online coursework to summer, of course, we would update SEVP with that adaptation for the university, and F1 students would be covered during the summer. Remember, unless you are finishing, if you're not finishing your program in summer, the summer is a vacation period. So registration is not required for summer session unless you are completing your program or starting a program in the summer. So as always, the summer, if you're a continuing student and you'll be coming and enrolling in the fall, you would be able to register for classes if you want to, given whether they are in person or if the university would be offering those online. We will reach out to SEVP and let them know that the university extended the online delivery. The same would be true for fall if we were online.
And Jody's response to that question is specifically for the majority of you who would most likely be in the semester-based academic programs. But there may be just a few of you out there who are in a 12-week master's program, in which case there is no annual vacation period under that academic calendar. So if you need any advising as to your specific academic program, please use the ISSS advising times to meet with an advisor and discuss your personal needs.
Great, thank you. There was a question from a new student who was admitted to the ECE program for fall 2020 and just wanted to ask about the graduate school allowing students to defer their offer.
Right, so for fall, Dean Fetter has reached out to to all the departments, having them really consider and think about the difficulty that international students may have arriving to campus in time for fall semester. As we're all aware, all embassies and consulates are closed for visa processing at this time. So even new students have received your I-20 or DS 2019 from our office, you aren't able to apply for your F1 or J1 visa at this time. When the embassies and consulates do reopen, we do expect a big backlog, and how quickly you would be able to move through that process is unknown at this time. So we are preparing the campus that it may be very difficult for international students to arrive for fall. If departments are able to consider having new students start from home in a remote way, this is something Dean Fetter has suggested departments think about and discuss, looking at their curriculum. Some curriculum are more able to be adjusted to an online delivery for a new student, and some are not. So our advice is for you to reach out to your individual department to see if any provisions have been made or are in the process of being made to provide your first semester as an online option that you might be able to engage in from your home country. So this might be different. The university may be back to face-to-face courses, but because you were not able to re-enter, this would be a special provision that your department has created for new international students to start from home. Again, not every department will be able to offer this, so you'll need to work with them to see if this is something they were able to provide and able to accommodate. If they are not able to accommodate, then you would be looking at working with your department in the graduate school for deferring your admission to either the spring semester, again, if the department has a spring admission, or to next fall. ISSS will be launching a form in mid-July, which will try to capture what your plans are mid-summer, and we will need to hear back from you by August 1 so that we know what to do with your immigration document, whether or not that will be deferred to spring or fall, whether or not you will start your program remotely with your department and still need an upgraded immigration document. These are all things that we'll manage through an e-form, and you'll receive emails from us as a new student helping you through this process and to navigate getting an appropriate immigration document that will facilitate your entry when you can get that visa and enter the US.
Thank you. There were some questions about stipends being continued as previously planned.
For continuing students,
Yeah.
if you were offered a graduate assistantship for the fall for next year, that offer should still stand. The hiring freeze does not apply to graduate assistants. To be extra sure, check with whomever offered you the graduate assistantship. If it is a department for a teaching assistantship, check with the department. If it is a research assistantship, check with the faculty member who is the principal investigator for the grantor contract.
And there was a follow-up question that may have been addressed, but I just want to be sure whether F1 visa status, students with F1 visa status are allowed to work off campus in case of such extreme circumstances.
So any employment that is not done through University of Maryland must have permission. You must have permission to work off campus, even if you are working for a company from your home. So all work must be approved. We are processing curricular practical training for F1 students and academic training for J1 students. For students who have received internships for this summer, many of those have been converted into remote internships, and we are able to process through our normal CPT process You can work with an advisor, make an appointment, and have CPT approved for summer. If you are looking at the two provisions that I mentioned, or the provision I mentioned earlier, which was economic hardship, that is a special application that goes through the government, and you would need to be approved for that, and you would receive an EAD card that would allow you to work off of the UMD campus. So those are two different provisions. Both require authorization. One authorization is through ISSS, and you can make an appointment with an advisor to apply for that curricular practical training.
And I would like to add that to be appointed as a graduate assistant, you must be in the United States. So we will be unable to provide graduate assistantships to students who are unable to return to campus or arrive on campus.
Great, thank you. We've received a number of questions about the UMD working on mandatory fee refunding. And one student noted that they're graduating in May, and given all the classes are shifted online, I'm planning to head home in early May. I'm planning on closing bank accounts before heading back home, and concerned how I would get mandatory fee refunds after I close the accounts.
I think we will have to look into that.
Patty did offer some guidance that we wouldn't recommend closing bank accounts that are tied to direct deposit with the university until after you receive those refunds. The refunds are usually posted to your student account and would cover any outstanding charges first, and then any remaining credit would then be sent via direct deposit to your bank account. The account is closed, it could seriously delay the availability of those funds.
Scott, I did see a question here that I can answer regarding OPT.
Sure.
Optional students that have been approved for optional practical training have 90 days that they can accrue of unemployment. And the question for us was, has this been extended due to COVID-19? And at this time, no, there have been no changes to, unfortunately, to the OPT rules in regards to timelines for applying or the unemployment days. This has been addressed by many universities asking the government for relief, but as of now, the rules are as published.
And Jody, as a follow-on, I see a question. If all 2020 classes are delivered online, will I be able to take up CPT in 2021 summer since I was enrolled in the fall 2020?
So yes, if the entire university went to online courses for fall, we would work with SEVP and let them know that that the online delivery is for the entire university, and F1 students would be able to maintain their status through that time. In order to be, one of the qualifications to be eligible for CPT for internships is that you're a full-time student for at least one academic year. And so you are meeting your one, in online courses, you are maintaining status and meeting those requirements of being a full-time enrolled student. And so with a fall and a spring enrollment, that following summer, an F1 student would be eligible for CPT, given that they meet all the other requirements for CPT, which involves a 3.0 GPA and those other qualifying pieces for CPT. But yes, online full-time enrollment that has been approved by the university meets your F1 full-time requirement in terms of CPT.
There was a follow-up question that may be related to the note about things being handled on a case-by-case basis, but the question was if they could please highlight something on off-campus employment provisions in such circumstances.
If you look at our website under F1 employment, you will see various types of work employment. OPT and CPT are the ones that most F1 students are familiar with, and academic training is what J1s are familiar with. But there are two other employment provisions, which are economic hardship, which I talked about earlier, and work with an international organization. These are two different work authorizations that are offered by the US government that students have the ability to apply for if they meet the requirements. And so students should take a look at what those requirements are to see if they would meet them. Unfortunately, the government has not authorized special student relief as of yet. This is a special work provision that is typically used in times of emergencies. In past cases, it was specific to different countries. So when Nepal had its earthquake, there was special student relief specifically for Nepali students. And so we've seen over periods of emergencies where the government has made regulations for special student relief. But as of this time, there's no provision for the special student relief. Of course, if that is approved, that will be immediately put on our website, and we will email students that this is a new work permission available.
Thank you. I know we're not going to be able to answer all of the questions that have been submitted, and so we're going to encourage anyone whose question we haven't answered to follow up by email to ISSS or the graduate school as appropriate. Are there any last closing thoughts that that you or anyone else wanted to share? Because we're almost out of time.
Well, I think it's a very challenging time for international students right now, whether you're just coming to the United States to begin a program, or whether you're a student who is here in a continuing program. But the challenges that we're facing as a community, we are facing them together. Each of us has been affected by the coronavirus in some way. And so I hope that we can take strength from each other as we move forward and face our different challenges. I hope as international students that you are feeling comfortable to reach out to all the people here at this town hall today to seek support or specific responses to questions that you may have. And it is my wish for all of you that you stay healthy and that you practice the good hygiene rules that the CDC has laid out for us, and that we find a way to form community in our remote environments. So please make sure you're using the resources the university is providing to you.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you very much to all of our co-hosts and for all of you for joining us. Stay safe, stay well, and please follow up with us if there's anything we can do to help you out. Take care.